My name is Marcus Leach. I'm an adventure athlete and public speaker. Welcome to the OhioRAAM show.
Well, thank you, Marcus Leach, for that introduction. You can see Marcus on the OhioRAAM show number 210. And I'm Lee Kreider, the producer of the OhioRAAM show, a show about ultracycling that comes to you 3 times a month on the 7th, 17th, and 27th. And this is show number 213. This show is a service of the Race Across America time stations here in Ohio, time station 41 in Oxford, time station 42 in Blanchester, and time station 43 in Chillicothe, Ohio. These time stations are open 24 hours a day when the race is passing through Ohio. And the dates this year for the Race Across America are leaving Oceanside, California on June the 11th will be the solo riders. The teams will start on Saturday, June the 15th. And that means that the teams will be catching up with the solo riders here in Ohio. They will be here June the 18th through Saturday the 22nd. On a future show, we'll give you a little tip on how you can tell exactly when the rider you're most interested in will be coming through. These time stations are a great place to see the race, and we welcome all of you to come and visit us at one of them. Be sure to check the show notes about today's guests. There will also be other information there about ultracycling. You will find the show notes right below the video if you're watching on the OhioRAAMshow.com website, or in the description box below the video if you're watching on YouTube. On the show notes, you'll also find ways that you can follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. There will also be a link there for this show on YouTube. Today we got Team Machine on the show. They are based right here in Southwest Ohio. Eddie Walker and David Wise, along with their crew chief, Becky Finley. So that said, let's head right on over to Team Machine. We have Becky Finley and Eddie Walker there in Kettering. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And I don't have to ask which is Becky and which is Eddie. That seems kind of obvious from here. And down in Florida, we have David Wise. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
David's down there in Florida. What are you doing in Florida, David?
With RAAM coming up, I'm trying to get some bigger miles in, and so I have the opportunity to come down here to Florida and do some bigger miles. And I did wait this morning till it got to be in the 60s before I went out and rode. I didn't want to have to put a jacket on.
So Eddie Walker is actually a triathlon coach. That's how I met Eddie. David is someone that kind of joined our group more recently. So I've known now David for about a year. We've got 2 amazing riders, strong riders. I'm Becky Finley, and I am crew chief for Team Machine.
David, let's start with you down there in warm Florida and tell me a little bit about your cycling background, how you got into it, how you got into ultracycling.
I was really completely inactive. I was 30 pounds heavier than I was now. Out of the blue, a good friend of mine asked me to ride in a charity ride, JDRF rides. I just couldn't even get my head around the idea that we would ride 100 miles in one day. But he encouraged me to do it, and I didn't even have a bicycle at the time. This was in 2007, and so I bought a bike, and I actually still remember my first training ride. I went out for about 5 miles, and that was pretty much pushing it. Got out to Death Valley, California, did the Century Ride. Crossing that finish line was just an enormously rewarding experience. It helped me get into shape. I had already shed a lot of weight. The 100 miles took me 10 hours. And that was what really launched me on this, what is now like such a big part of my life, which is just loving cycling. It's a part of what I do.
So Eddie, tell us about your cycling background.
I was active duty, and I couldn't afford 2 cars. She got the car, and I got a bicycle, and I rode to and from work. Pretty much the whole time I was in the Navy, I did that. Even when I lived in Connecticut, I enjoyed it. I wasn't in any hurry to buy a second car, if you want to know the truth. So we got out of the military, came back to Ohio. I finally broke down and bought a second vehicle. but I kept on riding. But all along, I was still active. I was a runner. People noticed that I could actually ride a bike really well, and they introduced me to the multi-sport. But when I got out of the military and came to Ohio, I started racing the HFP races, local outstanding races, and just kind of happened into the endurance side of the house. And I'm not going to say it was easy, but it was easier for me to go slow and long than fast and short. So it was just a natural thing for me to do long distance stuff.
Eddie, how did you two guys get together and form this team? Have you been on a team before, or is this something new for you?
But how I met David was through a teammate on our tri team. Said he was an outstanding guy, and I agree. We hit it off from the beginning. We started talking. I already had the appetite to do RAM. He had done it as a part of an 8-man team, and kind of got the feeling that he wanted to give it another shot. So I kind of helped him go towards that, and we went and watched the movie together and shared popcorn, and here we are today. By the way, we watched Godspeed, by the way.
He reeled me in, Lee.
David, you were on a RAM 8-person team. What team was that, and when was that?
So I was on a team in 2014 that was raising money for MS. Actually, in 2013, I did one of the Ohio Cycling Challenges, the one in Dublin, and I did it again in 2014. I decided I would pop into one of the seminars that RAM does if I met some people that I would potentially volunteer to crew. And I happened to meet a group of guys there, and lo and behold, a few weeks later, they called me and said, "Hey, this is kind of crazy, but we lost our 8th rider. Would you have an interest in riding for us? You don't have to do anything. Just ride your bike. Be careful what you wish for." And so I said yes, and I ended up having an amazing experience. The two-man felt a little bit like a stretch for me, but that's sort of one of the things that I like about it.
Becky, how did you get roped into this job?
I really don't know. I'm not really sure.
Have you ever done anything like this before?
Nope. Yeah, I was kind of surprised too. So.
Yeah, she shouldn't be, to be honest with you, Lee. Again, I know her. She's a hard charger. She's thorough. She's everything you want as a leader. It was a no-brainer for us. Our job's easy. We're riding, and she's doing all the legwork, and I couldn't ask for a better person.
Well, Becky, I met you over at the crew seminar here a couple weeks ago, another bad weather day. What did you think? Did you say, "I can do this," or did it scare the living daylights out of you, or somewhere in between?
I would definitely say somewhere in between. I think Fred did a great job really laying out the course and laying out what it would take. And, it's not a Sunday stroll by any means. And there's some things we got to work on. Some things we're a little ahead of schedule, but.
And how's your crew shaping up?
Really well. Got a crew of 13, all committed. We've actually got flights and arrangements already made for everybody coming out. Everybody's excited. We have mostly rookie crew members, a couple that have had experience, but for the most part, rookie.
You've been across the course as an 8-person team. Now you're going to be a 2-person team. What about the course worries you the most? The desert, the mountains, Kansas winds, West Virginia, what?
Yeah, I think that's the whole list. Obviously they're all problematic. To me, I think the most challenging, and it could be different for different people, but the most challenging is really the beginning, is the heat. You just see it take so many people out.
Eddie, same question.
Let my team down. I know they're sacrificing a lot there for us.
Well, I'll ask the same question of you, Becky. What do you wake up in the middle of the night and think about?
Every moment across the U.S.
So what are your goals for this race?
My goal is safe.
But I'm also there, this might be my only chance to ever do it. I want to do solo, but you just don't know what the future holds. And I don't want to ruin anyone's experience. I just want to take it all in. I really like to thank everyone that's been involved with this.
To me, this race is sort of like the it's the extreme of everything that cycling is to me. You know, I get a lot of joy out of just not the cycling itself, but the community that I'm part of, the people I've met, the places I've traveled. I feel like I am just enormously blessed that somehow this all came together, that now I'm like connected to this, this family of people that I'm a part of, that can make this happen. And we can, in the same way that I think Eddie said, you never know what life's going to bring. And this experience is something that most people would never have a chance to do. And so I just want to go out there and soak it in. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be rewarding. It's going to be something I think that, you know, when we complete, will just stick with you. And you'll be thinking about that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, influence how you do things because you had this experience. And so I'm just feel really blessed that I'm in a position to be connected to such great people and have the health to be able to do it.
Well, thank you all for being with us here tonight. Thank you, David. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Becky. We appreciate you taking time out to speak with us. It's always good to talk with the fellow Buckeyes.
We're going.
Thanks, Lee.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you all.
Take care.
Bye. Thank you, Eddie, David, and Becky, for being on the show today. We wish you well, and we hope a lot of people in Southwest Ohio will come out to greet you at one of the time stations here. And again, we will be giving you information later on as to just when Team Machine is expected through Ohio. Thank all of you for viewing the show. We want to thank you especially for your support on the social media. Our next show, we're headed back to India once again with Vineet Sarawala. Vineet is a blind person who stokes a tandem, and in our continuing effort to encourage the blind to get into cycling, we're happy to have Vineet on here. He had a remarkable ride over the Himalayan mountains with his pilot. Now, I've ridden a few mountains on my singles, and I've ridden a few mountains on the tandem. I can tell you that riding a mountain on a tandem is a different kettle of fish, and I am just standing in awe that they have accomplished this rather remarkable feat. So that'll be March the 17th. And with that, we're going to say goodbye. See you in about 10 days.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.
Thanks. You want to say it?
No, you're good. I'll say, welcome to the OhioRAAM show.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Becky Finley, and I'm from Dayton, Ohio, and I'm the crew chief for a two-man... Sorry, guys. I'm crew chief for Team Machine, a two-person team. Sorry. There's a lot of T's going on in there.
There's a lot of drinking going over there, Eddie.
I know. I need a drink.